respected dignitaries, esteemed faculty members, distinguished guests, and dear participants. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this national seminar on cybercrime and its regulatory mechanism organized by the Department of Law, Fakulty University, Baleshwar. In an era where technology governs our lives, understanding cyber threats and the legal frameworks to combat them has become not just relevant but essential. Today's seminar stands as a platform to deliberate, discuss, and develop insights into this evolving domain. Now I request all the dignitaries to be seated on the dais. Now I take the privilege to welcome and invite our chief guest, Professor Santosh Kumar Tripathi, Honorable Vice Chancellor for Cambridge University, a visionary academician and an inspiring leader whose guidance continues to elevate the academic excellence of this institution. I welcome Professor Bhaskar Behera, Chairman, PG Council, Fakulty University, a respected scholar and administrator known for his commitment to academic integrity and student development. I now welcome Advocate Manoj Kumar Nayak, President, District Bar Association, Baleshwar, a prominent legal professional and an active voice in the legal fraternity. I welcome a warm invitation to our keynote speaker, Professor Souvik Chatterjee, HOD, Department of Law, JS University, Kolkata, an eminent scholar whose expertise in law and research adds immense value to this seminar. I welcome Professor Dr. Vinay Kumar Das, convener and dean, Department of Law, whose leadership and vision have been instrumental in organizing this seminar. Now we proceed towards the watering of the holy plant, symbolizing growth, prosperity, and the nurturing of knowledge. We will be welcoming Srijita Satyanarayan Mr., the Honorable District and Session Judge, Baleshwar soon. Also, I welcome Srijita Pinaki Mishra, DIG Eastern Region Odisha, Baleshwar soon. As a gesture of respect and gratitude, we now move to the presentation of saplings to our esteemed guest, symbolizing sustainability, growth, and our deep appreciation. May I call our student volunteers to give the saplings to the esteemed guests. Now I request everyone to kindly rise for the university anthem. invite Professor Vinay Kumar Das, convener and Dean, Department of Law, to formally invite our guests and set the tone for the seminar.
My dear ladies and gentlemen, it is a matter of pride for the Department of Law, Fakir Mohun University. We are going to conduct its second national seminar on the most sensible and burning topic, cybercrime and its regulatory mechanism. On this occasion, I take the opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to our honorable guests of the seminar, Professor Santosh Kumar Tripathi, Vice Chancellor, Fakir Mohun University, Professor Bhaskar Behera, Chairman, PG Council, Srijukta Pinak Mishra, DIG Eastern Region, Odisha, Srijukta Satyanarayan Mishra, District and Sessions Judge, Kaleshwar, Advocate Manoj Kumar Nayak, President District Bar Association, Kaleshwar, Advocate Bhakta Bhushan Behera, Member, Bar Council of India, and Professor Shobhik Chatterjee, Head of the Department of Law, JIS University, Kolkata. Due to some problem, due to some other assignment, till now, our district judge, Srijukta Satyanarayan Mishra, unable to reach, but he will join subsequently. He has assured us, as well as Srijukta Pinaki Mishra, DIG, he will also join later on, and Advocate Bhakta Bhushan Bari, due to some other assignment, he has refused, he has denied to come join our meeting. So we are honored to have their presence to grace the occasion. On behalf of the Department of Law, we extend our heartfelt thanks for your gracious presence. I am assigned to introduce the honorable guests on the dais. As a matter of fact, they need no introduction, as they are well known in their own field. But as a customary, I take this opportunity to introduce before you the most benevolent and humble personality who needs no introduction, a towering personality of excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, he is our most respected Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Santosh Kumar Tripathi. Sir, we are honored in your presence. I am also fortunate to our distinguished guest, Srijukta Pinak Mishra. Due to some other assignment, he is unable to reach till now. But he has assured us he will consent to join the seminar. So, Pinak Mishra, IPS, DIG Eastern Region, Odisha, who stands tall in the Indian Police Service. In spite of his busy schedule and engagement, he accepted our invitation. So, we are overwhelmed in your presence, sir. So, I am happy to introduce before you our distinguished guest, Srijukta Satyanarayan Mishra, District and Sessions Judge, Kaleshwar, a lauded personality and the senior most judge in this cadre. Srijukta Mishra started his career in the District Judge cadre in 2008, and within a period of 18 years, he has served as District Judge in 6 districts: Baleshwar, Cuttack, Khordha, Sambalpur, Gajapati, as well as Jaipur. We are honored with your presence, sir. On this occasion, I must introduce our most beloved professor, our guest, Professor Bhaskar Behera, Chairman, PG Council, Fakir Mohun University. Professor Behera is a distinguished academician in the field of bioscience and biotechnology. Under his able guidance, more than 10 scholars have been awarded doctorate degree. He is an eminent professor having national and international record. We are honored with your presence, sir. I am also privileged to be presenting before you our most respectable learned advocate, our distinguished guest, Senior Advocate of Baleshwar, Srijukta Manoj Kumar Nayak, President District Bar Association, and most popular and well-acclaimed advocate of Baleshwar Bar. Sir, we are privileged with your presence. I am also happy to introduce a young and dynamic advocate of national importance, Mr. Bhakta Bhushan Bari, who unable to come, member Bar Council of India, a distinguished legal professional and a dynamic personality in the field of advocacy. The last but not least, I must introduce our keynote speaker, our distinguished guest, Professor Shobhik Chatterjee, Head of the Department, JIS University, Kolkata. He is a professor of eminence. Professor Chatterjee completed his LLM from two foreign universities. He has completed his LLM in Warwick University, United Kingdom, and Western Reserve University, Ohio, USA. Before joining JIS University, Kolkata, he had the experience of teaching as an assistant professor in the National Law School, Jodhpur, as well as National Law School of Calcutta, that is NUJS, Calcutta. So we are really grateful with your presence. So at last, I must mention the names of our invited resource person and the member of our panel discussion present in this August gathering. Mr. Niladri Rai, he will join at 2 p.m. because he is one of the panelists in the panel discussion. Mr. Niladri Rai, Additional Director, ITR, Professor Sukanta Nando, Dean, Birla Global University, Associate Professor Parmita Das, Heat Law School, Srijukta Suman Kumar Jana, Odisha Judicial Service, at present Secretary, District Legal Service Authority, Baleshwar, Professor P.K. Swain from SOA University, SOA National Law School, Advocate Prabhu Prasanna Behera, Additional Standing Counsel, Government of Odisha, Srijukta Brahmanath Ratha, Founder Director, Baleshwar Darpana, a media house. Then Dr. Vijay Chandra Mahapatra, Consultant Law, Odisha High Court, Professor N.C. Patnaik, Principal Lingaraj Law College, Barampur University, Assistant Professor Sneha of Javier Law School. I also welcome all the principal and faculty members of different law colleges of Odisha. Presently, they are present in this seminar. And in front of me, that other professors are there. Professor B.D. Kusti, who has recently retired from Raipur, that Ravi Shankar Shukla University, and Principal of Raurkela Law College. Then S.K. Ratha, ICSS Law College, and Bhadrak, he is the head of LLM department. Vijay Chandra Mahapatra, he is also, I have already mentioned his name. And with others, there are other faculty members are also present here who have joined, and they will also present papers. So once again, my hearty welcome to you all. Jai Jai.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor Bhaskar Behera, Chairman, PG Council, to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning to one and all. Mr. Esteemed Vice Chancellor of Patel University, Professor Santosh Kumar Tripathi, the President of this inaugural session, esteemed keynote speaker, Dr. Shobhik Chatterjee, JIS University, Kolkata, most esteemed guest, Advocate Manoj Kumar Nayak, President District Bar Association, Baleshwar, esteemed convener of this conference and Dean, Faculty of Law, Professor Dinesh Kumar Das, esteemed all professors from different parts of Odisha and outside Odisha, distinguished guests, research persons, professors from my university, research scholar, and dear students. On behalf of my university and on behalf, I welcome you all to this national seminar on cybercrime and its regulatory mechanism. I congratulate the Department of Law and the staff and teachers for organizing this valuable conference on behalf of our university on the topic cybercrime and its regulatory mechanism. As you know, the topic is very pertinent, and nowadays we are all suffering from this cybercrime. In recent years, Odisha has made significant progress in digital development. Initiative in e-governance, online education platform, digital classrooms, and the increasing use of smartphones have transformed the way we teach, learn, and communicate. Particularly in the field of education, digital platforms such as online classes, e-content, and portals have made learning more accessible to students across urban as well as rural areas. However, along with this advancement, the risk of cybercrime has also increased. Students, teachers, and even common citizens are becoming vulnerable to cyber fraud, online harassment, identity theft, and misuse of personal data. In many cases, lack of awareness becomes the biggest challenge. As educators, our responsibility is not limited to imparting subject knowledge. We must also prepare our students to become responsible digital citizens. Cyber safety, ethical use of technology, and awareness about legal provisions should become an integral part of our educational practice. In Odisha, where a large number of learners are first generation digital users, awareness and guidance become even more crucial. Teachers must guide students on safe online practices such as protecting password, identifying fake link, and reporting suspicious activities. Educational institutions should also organize awareness program, workshop, and training session on cyber security. I am happy to note that this seminar focuses not only on cybercrime but also on its regulatory mechanism. Strong laws, effective implementation, and public awareness must go together. At the same time, research in this area, especially from an educational perspective, can contribute to policy improvement and better practices. I would like to especially encourage our young researchers and students, as well as the postgraduate students, to take up such relevant topics for study and research. Your work can help in building a safer digital environment for the society. I congratulate the organizing department for choosing such a meaningful and contemporary theme. I am confident that today's deliberation will lead to valuable insights and practical suggestions. Before I conclude, I would like to say that cyber safety begins with each one of us. Being alert, responsible, and ethical in your digital behavior is the first step towards preventing cybercrime. With these words, I extend my best wishes for the success of this seminar. Thank you. Jai Jagannath.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful words. Now I move to the keynote segment and invite Dr. Soumik Chatterjee from JS University, Kolkata, an eminent academician and expert in the field, to deliver the keynote address.
Thanks a lot. I congratulate Fakir University, Balasore, to come up with such a brilliant topic in respect of national seminar. Meaning that as far as cyber crimes are concerned, and the combating of the cyber crimes, that's a real challenge, not only for India, is a challenge for world as such. Having giving that amount of level of thought in terms of having a seminar, national seminar, and inviting different paper presentations at different levels. So I totally congratulate the entire team of Fakir University, and I'm also very privileged to be given the honor to be the keynote speaker. Now coming down to cyber crimes, as a matter of fact, generally I've seen in different respective international conventions that has been mentioned that why did the so-called respective legislations being created on the part of the individual countries. They did not come up with a proper cyber laws years back. Now as far as India is concerned, everybody knows that the Indian Penal Code was actually created in 1860 by Lord Macaulay and his team. So, our existing penal laws were at least, 150 years, old. Thereafter, this Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita came up, just few years back. Now, it's known as a matter of fact that, different forms of cyber crimes, they evolved over the period of time. In that perspective comes up the question as to, the existing laws that are there in India, like Information Technology Act, whether they are, absolutely sufficient in the context of, identifying the different types of cyber crimes. At the same time, in respect to the mechanism that is there to combat it, has India progressed to that particular level? Now, first of all, let me say that, generally combating this type of, crimes generally is very difficult. One of the biggest difficulties is the fact that cyber space is generally, very wide. I mean, it's like, having a small jurisdiction in the context of a theft or a, extortion. That is very easy because it's a physical act as such, and thereafter the jurisdiction can be very easily be created. Cyber, offense can be created at any part of the world, and jurisdiction is not generally very limited to the respective physical zone. Now, coming down to first of all, defining the different types of cyber crimes. I am just giving few of the examples. One includes obviously hacking of computer systems and networks. That means, entering into a system of somebody else. Second is data theft, identity theft, or information breaches. Then there are cyber fraud that includes phishing, online scams, and financial crimes. Then there is distribution of malware, ransomware, spyware, and other forms of viruses. Then there is cyber stalking, online harassment and defamation. As far as cyber stalking is concerned, it's a very serious, offense for the sole fact that, there are couple of cases in India that have been decided, for the last 20-25 years, where it has been seen that beyond the question of physical stalking, cyber stalking basically has harassed people on the, general, web and other internet space. Because it's a form of activity where, let's say, generally a particular person is being stalked, a person is being followed in cyberspace without the knowledge of the person, and if the knowledge of the person is still there, without the so-called permission of that particular person. It can go to any particular extent. I'll explain in due time. Then there is denial of service and distribution DOS attacks which disrupt services. There is intellectual property theft, software piracy. There is online child exploitation and dissemination of illegal content, which is very, very common. Child pornography over the web. That's a very common area where the children, their so-called photographs and other things are generally sent to different places, and thereafter money is extracted. There is cyber terrorism, last but not the least, which includes attack on critical infrastructure. Now these are the general definitions as a matter of fact. Now coming down to the enforcement part of it. But before I go down to enforcement, I have to basically say that where does this particular space that I talked about include? One includes obviously the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. These days the problem is that people generally they themselves, they get involved in all this social media. They think that if they don't do a Facebook, they don't do WhatsApp, they are they are thrown out of the society or something like that. The problem lies over there. The majority of the cyber crimes, they originate from these social network itself. Then there comes the messaging apps, that's the WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, that enable encrypted real-time communication. Third includes e-commerce, because many people, they don't have the time to go to the we used to basically say that Khula Bazaar and do the marketing. They do everything in online manner, which includes Amazon, eBay, Alibaba, and there are different sites. Then there is cloud storage, that is Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox. There is online banking, which is even more dangerous. The problem lies with online banking is that people use whatever server that is there in front of them and create just a username and password. Sometimes people rely on other persons so much that they do the transaction, they just give the username password, and somebody goes over there and misuses the online account. Then there is online entertainment and gaming. Children are very much fascinated. They make a mess in the context of this illegal streaming or financial fraud. Then comes e-governance portals. Now these are the space where these things specifically come up. Now in the context of Indian so-called laws, first of all, when we are talking about combating, the statutory framework can be said like this. There is the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, that means the amended, new law as such, replacing IPC. There is this Information Technology Act of 2000, which is amended two times, once in 2008, second in 2023. These are the major legislation, and I can tell that there are respective provisions like Section 66, which addresses computer-related offences like hacking. Section 66C, which deals with identity theft. 66D, which talks about addressing cheating by impersonation using computer resources. Section 67, which talks about publishing or transmitting obscene material in electronic form. Section 70, which protects sensitive data and empowers the government to declare specific systems as protected. Now, these are some of the provisions in the IT Act which are generally very relevant. Also, Section 43, which talks about unauthorized access and damage to computer systems, and also Section 80, which gives power to police officers to enter, search, or arrest without warrant in certain cybercrime cases. Now comes the question of why is it that generally supplementary legal and policy measures are required to combat cybercrimes. I'll just talk about a few of the policies that are there. One is the National Cyber Security Policy of 2023, which has a strategic framework for securing national digital infrastructure. There is IT Rules of 2025, which regulates online content and intermediary responsibilities. There is a National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal, which enables public reporting of cybercrime incidents. There is CERT-In, which coordinates incident response and international cyber investigations. Now, coming down to the question of India's responsibility in the context of United Nations and the other so-called countries with which India has general transaction. As far as UN Convention on Cybercrime, generally it has been mentioned that every country generally should try to strengthen international cooperation in combating cybercrime. As I mentioned, that the borders generally are very wide. It is not like when anybody basically commits a crime in the cyberspace, that crime can involve a person staying in Nepal, a person staying in Bangladesh, a person staying in Pakistan, or whichever other country concerned, and that can affect another person in India down the line. So in 2015, India signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding with Germany, on security cooperation, which includes provisions related to combating cybercrime. In 2016, India entered into cybersecurity MOUs with Singapore, Malaysia, and Japan, focusing on cyber threat intelligence sharing, capacity building, and coordinated response mechanisms. Now comes the question of the challenges. I'll keep the speech generally not very big. The biggest challenge lies in the fact that there is a very dangerous technology which has come recently called artificial intelligence. Now, those who are the proponents of that, if they are clever enough, there are chances of misusing that artificial intelligence in respect of using the cyberspace to create so-called identities which are fake. Now, when fake identities come into picture, the enforcement agency should be equally equipped to identify them and thereafter release the persons whose status in online space generally has got disrupted for that particular fake question. Now, by fake, it is very difficult to understand that that particular identity has been created by your artificial intelligence to be fake. Here comes the question that as far as cyber cells in India are concerned, there are dedicated cyber cells in different parts of the country. State of Odisha has it. In West Bengal, Lal Bazaar has a cyber cell of its own. There are cyber cells in Bengaluru, in Mumbai, and other respective places. Problem lies is that people, they don't actually are directly related to a headquarter of a police station. People are related to it can be a particular village in Jaleshwar, a particular village in Birbhum or Bankura, or a particular village in Madhya Pradesh. Trouble lies, is the respective police station which is very near to that particular jurisdiction, are the so-called police officers, all of them sensitized? Like I know of many of my students. I am an associate professor of JS University. They have complained the fact that they have gone to their local police station, sometimes in Belgoria PS. I don't want to name the police stations rather. But the thing is that when they have gone to a second officer or whoever and mentioned about the cyber fraud that had taken place, they have said that the fact is you better come down and create a general diary. Don't go for an FIR. Because if you create an FIR, there are chances that you have to, the obviously investigation can lead to creating a charge or whatever, and thereafter you might have to come for a number of days of hazira, and you will feel that it's going to generally create a bigger problem. And the fact that the police directly goes over there and discloses the fact that I am not, cyber equipped to come up and understand that the level of the whatever cyber offense has actually taken place. Now that is the story not of only certain parts of the country but a major part of the country. I mean the reason that happens is generally whenever the enter investigating agencies, they are being trained, they are required to be sensitized in the context of all the provisions that I have talked about just now. Information Technology Act and all the so-called cyber laws or cyber crimes or cyber security, these mechanisms should be absolutely taught to the police at the very ground level, not the officer in charge or not the very high folded police machinery. At the ground level, then only what can happen is when people are coming down to them, they can help out the cause at the very earliest, because the first interaction that happens in respect of crime in the criminal perspective is always with the police. The second part is in the context of the public prosecutors. Question is, I can say 50% of the public prosecutors, they themselves are not, the way they are equipped with respect to, the different forms of cyber crimes, because, the days when they have actually, completed their, law, it was not, taught in a very dedicated way, because, countries across the world, they are also equipping their the respective law courses with respect to cyber crimes. Third is the question of that amount of knowledge in the context of artificial intelligence also has to be fed in with respect to police. And last but not the least, the question of the judges and magistrates, they are also supposed to be absolutely sensitive in the context of cybercrime offences. I can give a very simple reference, that is in respect of forensic science evidences. There was a case, Doggett versus Merrill Lynch, and that particular case has said that countries across the world should go beyond the concept of corroborative, value being given to forensic evidence, saying that a person, in Indian perspective, it is seen that a person cannot be convicted on the solitary testimony relating to forensic evidence. Answer is that you have to go beyond that. See, if a DNA finally gives a identity in the context of a particular person's information are directly linked up, then that DNA evidence should be given highest amount of authority. Now it is up to the courts and up to the group of criminal justice administrators to give as much of importance to the question of whatever forensic evidence comes up in respect of cyber crimes in the country, because the things are very technical, the things are generally very scientific oriented. Now if that is done, obviously the combating mechanism can generally help out the cause. As I say that it has to be a combination of cyber crimes plus forensic evidence plus the police plus the criminal justice system. That includes obviously the prosecution and the judiciary. One more thing I want to basically say that in respect of cyber crimes that are there, it is absolutely the entire universe is the jurisdiction. So question of jurisdictional error comes up much at the last point. But the bigger question is that whenever cyber crimes take place, there is a one way or the other there is a reason of casualty on the part of people who are using this cyber space in a big way. So I totally agree with the fact that just now one of the experts had said that there is a kind of casualness of people at large in utilizing cyberspace. They should also be sensitized. The fact that these days we have seen that too much of information is generally given in cyberspace by the people, because they think that if they feed up the WhatsApp, every day they are giving a new status, changing their photographs down the line in Facebook and using up Instagram. And people are loving the fact that yesterday there were 100 admirers, today I have 2,500 admirers because I have given some information in the Instagram. answer is that when you all are doing a thing like that, please try to understand that, what is the limitation in terms of your personal information is going over there. Personal information can be tapped, personal information can be misused, and as I mentioned, that artificial intelligence has a very good side if it can be properly used, but artificial intelligence generally has a bigger problem in respect of misuse. I mean, that is the reason the DPDP Act had been created recently to understand that, who can be, generally the proper repositors in respect of information that are there in web space, in internet space. So my last word before I finish off is that, the people themselves, you should be also very sensitized in respect of, understanding and utilizing the cyberspace. And the other question is that the so-called crimes that are already there in Information Technology Act and the rest of the crimes, there has to be a proper awareness creation in respect of the entire criminal justice system, which includes all of them. If people can be sensitive, there is no reason why India cannot combat it, because India already has progressed to a very big extent compared with the other countries down the line. But there is a long way to go in terms of combating cyber. Thanks all of you.
Thank you, sir, for that enlightening keynote. Now I invite Advocate Manoj Kumar Nayak, President, District Bar Association, Baleshwar, to share his valuable thoughts.
Honorable President, Professor Santosh Kumar Tripathi, Honorable Vice Chancellor of this pious as well as August Academic Institute, esteemed keynote speaker, Professor Shobhit Chatterjee, HOD, Department of Law, JIS University, Kolkata. Guest of honor, Lieutenant Professor Bhaskar Behra, Chairman PG Council, Bhatul Mohani University, and Lieutenant Convener, Professor Dr. B.K. Das, Dean, Department of Law, Bhatul Mohani University, and other honorable guests who are here to arrive and participate in the dance. The land members of a different academic institutes, specifically the Faculty of Law, professors, lecturers, teachers, as well as all the grand staffs, teaching staffs of my loving university, and non-teaching staff, as well as the students who have participated in this rarest of the rare national seminar, and those who have not participated also, and I lay my heartfelt congratulations to all the students of this pious academic institution, as well as I extend my heartfelt congratulations to the resource persons, as well as to the research scholars, and to all of you. Dear, at the outset, I bow down my head in the soil because I am taking you back 30 to 33 years back. It is a memory which should keep alive in my mind so far I last my breath. in the year 92 and 93. Santosa, I was the Sarpanch in this locality for the successive term of this locality. By then, the collector Babasu served a notice upon me, and I was directed to attend his office. I went to office. He asked me, Mr. Mani, what is Sarpanch? I told him, yes, sir, I am the Sarpanch. Why you are creating hindrance and problem to hand over the peaceful possession of this landed property for national unity and integrity? Really, I was surprised. I do not know regarding which matter he is asking to. I expressed my willingness to know the matter. He told me here in this town an helipad will be established to protect the ideal group and experimental establishment as well as to protect the radar unit which has been installed at a Swapnajuda range. Then I immediately said, sir, I am not the sole authority as well as I am not the right title owner of this landed property. I shall have to consult my ward members. I shall have to consult my people of my Gram Panchayat. No. You bring your friend and you issue an official letter. I told no, sir, it is not possible on my part. Then a Gram Sabha was held. In this phase, here about 2,000-3,000 from this Panchayat participated, and in the same and one way, I am really grateful for them. They protested, they resisted. The armed forces no and will not leave this land for any arms unit, be it a helipad or any unit. However, by then, perhaps our spiritual Mr. Biju Patnaik, he called on a meeting. And there it was decided, because by then the economy of the Maharashtra was resting only upon agriculture, which was completely agrarian economy. It was settled in the office of the Panchayat Minister. No, this land will be used for the granting of the country. Therefore, I told at the outset, I will bow my head before this soil. However, sir, I have got the privilege to deliver my few minutes deliveration before my students as well as my loving teachers and in good work. Sir, the topic which has been set too much for discussion, cyber crime and its regulatory mechanism. My dear student, you have seen the coconut. The surface of the coconut, that means the upper side will be very hard. It seems like a hard substance, but whenever it breaks down, you will find the eating item as well as the drinking item inside the coconut. Likewise, the topic which has been set to motion for debate, for discussion, that is cyber crime and its regulatory mechanism. That is very interesting topic. Few minutes before, my brother Mr. Souvik Chatterjee was addressing me, and he was telling that the investigating agency must be careful. Sir, here I would like to draw your kind attention. In 2023, the IPC and CRPC, it was abolished, it was thrown to oblivion. BNS and BNSS came into force. Sir, can we say either the executing law enforcing agency or the lawyers or the advocates, as if Mr. Chatterjee was telling, the public prosecutors, have they ever read all those subjects? Even the magistrate judges, those read all those books. In spite of that, the law is approved. Sir, it is a very difficult matter. At the outset, if we think the topic is cyber crime and its regulatory mechanism, what is the meaning of cyber? What is the meaning of cyber? This word cyber is derived from a Greek word which is known as internetics. The word cyber has been derived from a Greek word, and that word is known as internetics. What does that internetics means? Internetics means control on humans and a mechanical system. And in addition to it, when it is coming to use the tool, the device, when it is set to use, naturally, be it an electronic device, computer, be it a mobile, or be it any other instrument, any other device, when it comes to be used by them, it becomes larger than the space, larger than the world, larger than the globe. Am I clear? When it comes to use any cyber, any internet, it comes to full scale use, it becomes larger than the universe. It becomes larger than the globe. It becomes larger because while in this cyber world a crime is committed. You all know what is the definition of a crime? What is the definition of a crime? Crime is illegal, and who commits it, there is a penal provision that he will be punished. That is called crime. When a crime is committed in the cyber world, it is very strange, very peculiar. The criminal is neither known to the victim, nor the victim is known to the criminal offender. Very serious in nature, my dear students. The man who commits the crime is not known to the victim, and the person who has become victim to the crimes, he is not known to the offender. And in criminal cases, there is a very important ingredient. Lots are only Sasako sitting before me, which is known as court of action. In other words, what we say, that is the jurisdiction. Can you definitely speak? This crime has been committed within the jurisdiction of this Ramuna police station. Who can say? This crime has been committed within the police district of Maharashtra. Who will find it out? Who will fix it? This offense has been committed within the jurisdiction of Maharashtra police circle. It is not a matter of joke, my dear students. And regarding the equipment, because so far the legislation of India is concerned, always a law needs three organs, three wings to enforce it properly as per provisions laid down in the books. What is that? One is legislation, another is execution or implementation, third one is trial. The prosecutors, those who are not willing to, even the defense counsel, they are not willing to do this law. Even the law enforcing agency, they are not well equipped to this law. Those who are legislating, they are not equipped with this law. So, how you can pressure the offender clear. What law is there to drag the offender to the legal net? And it is a very peculiar thing. Cyber law is completely different. But its governing authority is IT. Cyber law is completely different. But its governing authority regarding punishment, regarding penal provision, that is ITL. And the what Sahab was saying, another in the world, in the year 2023 has been enacted. That is the Personal Data Protection Act. 2023 Personal Data Protection Act. So, it is my suggestion before this August National Seminar. A global legal system is highly required. Global legal system enactment is highly required to keep control over these cyber crimes. Until and unless a global law is enforced, it is not simply possible to control these cyber crimes. Once Rabindranath Tagore has told, you see how much perspective he had. He has specifically told, we must strive for a future. We must strive for a future where the cyberspace is, without fear or crime, and the head is held high. Again I am reading, we must strive for a future where the cyberspace is without fear or crime, and the head is held high. You see, what a farsighted man you are. The cyber operation must be prevailed upon without any fear and crime. It was any intention. Therefore, it is my feeling. But I have derived from it that the global legal system is to be updated to curb the cybercrime matters throughout the world. I am drawing the attention of this August House. Recently, the war was going on in between USA and Iran. We have all seen, we all are well aware. 83% war devices was controlled by cyber means, and specifically the aircraft. It was controlled by cyber devices. If it is so, if it happens, and we have seen this is cyber space is controlling the entire infrastructure of the nation. It is not controlling our banking account. It is not controlling our personal data. It is also controlling the entire infrastructure of a nation. Wherever you go, you will find whether it is North Pole, South Pole, it doesn't matter. A man is sitting in the North Pole of the world is extracting money from a man who is sitting in the South Pole. How can we control? How it can be prevented? We have got a proverb. Prevention is better than cure. Therefore, a global system is required. However, by technology has brought and parallel convenience, science it has also produced the cyber crime. I do not know after our generation what will be the fate of our upcoming generations. After our generation, what will be the fate of the upcoming generations? You might have seen, it would not be out of effort to put in before you. You would have bet. You would have bet into what I remember that it was 25th December. The pollution standard in Maharashtra, AQI, Air Quality Index, was highest in the city. 138. Does this method, does this cycle could not control the pollution? Is it properly used? Why it was not properly used to control the pollution? So science has come to that extent. In one, regarding extortions are within 2526, the ransom has increased 400% in war for the globe. The money from the genuine account holder has been swindled away, and the ratio is 400% rise. 400% rise. Then what the crime prevention or crime control authority throughout the globe from the world? It has not become successful. I cannot say it is a failure. But it has not acted upon as ought to be, as desired to be. My former speaker was speaking. Pornography, all these things, even it will be enough if I go on the test. Even in India, we will find a number of people have fled away from the Union State of India. Soon there were some thousand crores of money and they have to end out the finance of our country, finance of our nation. They have entered it. Thank you all. I am grateful before you all that you have invited me and allowed me to speak for some moment so far. Then you will submit.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we move towards a significant movement, the unveiling of the souvenir and the book on social justice published by the Department of Law. I request our dignitaries to kindly do the honor. Department of Law. Now I request esteemed Vice Chancellor, Professor Santosh Kumar Tripathi sir, to felicitate our keynote speaker, Dr. Souvik Chatterjee. Now I request Professor Bhaskar Behera, Chairman PG Council, Fatima University, to felicitate Advocate Manas Kumar Naik, President, District Bar Association, Management. Now I request Professor Vinay Kumar Das, sir, Convener and Dean, Department of Law, to felicitate our esteemed Vice Chancellor, Professor Santosh Kumar Tripathi, sir. Now I request Professor Vinay Kumar Das, sir, Convener in Department of Law, to again felicitate Professor Bhaskar Behera, sir, Chairman PG Council, Fatima University. Now I request Professor Bhaskar Behera, sir, Chairman PG Council, Fatima University, to felicitate presented Professor Vinay Kumar Das, Sir, Convener and Department of Law. Thank you. Now I request our chief guest and honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Santosh Kumar Tripathi sir, to deliver the presidential address.
Esteemed Professor Dr. Souli Chatterjee, the General Speaker of this seminar, esteemed guest, Advocate Manoj Kumar Nayak, President, District Bar Association, Narasur, our Chairman of the Council, Professor Asif Bera, the convener of the program and Dean Law, Professor Vinay Kumar Das, the faculty members of the Department of Law, esteemed resource persons coming from different eminent law institutes from Odisha and outside, dear research scholars and students. I am very happy that the Department of Law is organizing this seminar at the right time when we are suffering from and discussing cybercrime and how it can be checked, prevented. Everybody is concerned about it. While opening a cell phone, obviously we are careful about looking at how it is, whether it is safe or something has happened to it. While opening the computer, this also happens when you go to the personal room. Because here is there that what happens to my data, what happens to my money. We are told, we are forced, we are into internet, we are into social media, we are into different e-books which are very helpful to us, easy to operate, but finally threatens us about our data and about our money. Therefore, I congratulate the Department of Law and the leadership of Professor Das. They are organizing this type of seminar. About the regulations about the crime which is happening and concerned regulations. And as I know, everyone must be aware about it. And while particularly using social media, while particularly using the e-banking system, while using the data, providing your own data to somebody or using others' data, you must be careful about it. And very importantly, you must be careful about anonymous calls, anonymous requests for different things. Friends, one line solution is control your fingers. Once you know how to control your fingers, perhaps you are safe. If you do not know and try to explore new things out of it, sometimes you are in trouble. So unless you know, unless you are confirmed about a particular art, about a particular request, about a particular word, please don't use your finger as you use in this models. I have marked some students are with notebooks, but some students are very carelessly sitting, talking among themselves as if they are attending something, a barak. A seminar is not for that purpose. A seminar is organized for students for learning many things, learning the subject, hearing the resource persons who are brilliant, who are experienced with the topic, sharing the knowledge, and finally get into it so that they are learned and unfortunately, most of the students are not having notebooks on their hands. They are simply onlookers or enjoying their own medium. I'm sorry to say this, but it is a fact seen in this book. When we are attending a seminar as a student, I was very careful and I warning that on hereditary I found that my name is there. Friends, randomly I will call the students to speak over here what they learned from this. Be prepared. And I will just take the name of the speaker because I have to take this notebook. What the particular speaker spoke about, you have to speak. It will be done randomly. This is from my side. Because I believe seminar is a serious business. It is just not meeting and eating and enjoying. It is learning. Obviously enjoying the learning process. Obviously enjoying the eating part. But the first priority is learning. Therefore, please, friends, be careful about it. Have notebooks with you. Learn from these people. Share your experience, ask questions, and be prepared to be answering my questions also at 4:15 as the time has been given. I will be there. Maybe time will be extended by that time. I don't mind. I will be here again. And another thing, Manoj sir told that after our generation, what will happen? भाई वो बापा भी कहते ମୋ ପରେ କ'ଣ ହେବ ଭଗବାନ ମୁଁ ବି ସେୟା କହୁଛି ଏମାନେ ବି ସେୟା କହିବେ time changes, mechanism changes, technique changes, learning changes, and adjust to the changes. The change is obvious. Change is the only static thing that happens. While accepting the change, we have to adjust to the change. We have to accommodate with the change. So that change will not take over us, rather we will take over the change. If that is the approach, our next generation will not be in trouble. They will be happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. Now I invite Ms. Nehashri Pradhan, Assistant Professor, Department of Law, Fakulty University, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks for this inaugural session of the National Seminar on Cybercrime and its Regulatory Mechanism. First and foremost, I express my heartfelt gratitude to our Honorable Chief Guest Professor Santosh Kumar Tripathi sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor Fakimov University for gracing this occasion and for his inspiring presidential address. Thank you, sir. I would also like to express my gratitude and sincere thanks to our keynote speaker, Professor Souvik Chatterjee, for his insightful and thought-provoking keynote address. Thank you so much, sir. I extend my sincere appreciation to Advocate Manoj Kumar Naik, President, District Bar Association, Balashwar, for his valuable contribution. Thank you so much, sir. I extend my sincere thanks to Professor Bhaskar Behra, Chairman, PG Council, Fakirpur University, for his warm welcome and valuable insights. Thank you so much, sir. I convey my deepest appreciation to Professor Vinodkumar Das, Dean and Convener, whose vision and leadership have been instrumental in organizing this seminar. I convey my deepest appreciation to Professor Amulya Kumar Acharya, Coordinator and Co-Convener, who has been the backbone of the seminar and has supported us always. Thank you so much, sir. I also extend my sincere thanks to all dignitaries present, faculty members and participants for their gracious presence and enthusiastic involvement. Lastly, my special thanks go to the organizing committee, student volunteers and support staff for their tireless efforts in making this inaugural session a success. Thank you, everyone.
Finally, I request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem.
Jai 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 विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्तर बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उत्सव जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाए तव जय गाथा जन जन मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे